everybody, welcome back to the news channel. Russia-Ukraine war. Biden promised to restore world order collapse as global chaos reign. Biden promised that if he was elected, Putin's days of trying to intimidate Eastern Europe were over. The way candidate Joe Biden told it on the campaign trail, thing was simple: elect him president, and the world order would return to one in which America was not to be closed. The world does not organize itself. American leadership, backed by clear goals and sound strategies, is necessary to effectively address the defining global challenge of our time. Biden's campaign website asserted, in order to lead again, we must restore our credibility and influence. From day one of the Biden administration, other countries will once again have reason to trust and respect the word of an American president. And he also talked about Russian President Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin doesn't want me to be president. He doesn't want me to be our nominee. If you're wondering why, it's because I'm the only person in the field who ever gone toe-to-toe with him. Biden, February 21st, 2020, tweeted. But just over 13 months since President Biden took office, the post-Cold War order is on the verge of crumbling altogether. It started with a humiliating American exit from Afghanistan, in which desperate Afghans clung to departing American planes, only to fall to their death. The safety of American soldiers was dependent on Taliban fighters, and American civilians were stranded in the country after their president broke his promise not to leave them behind. The global order resembled something close to a worldwide version of King of the Hill, Russia waging a violent invasion of Ukraine, despite Biden's assurance that if he was elected, Putin would no longer bully Eastern Europe. Putin knows that when I'm president of the United States, his day of tyranny and trying to intimidate the United States and those in Eastern Europe are over, Biden said in October 2019. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was pressed Tuesday on Biden's promise that Putin would no longer seek to intimidate Eastern Europe, but she denied that Biden's guarantee had fallen short. I will look at it, actually, from the prism of the United States, and President Biden has rallied the world, rallied Europe to stand up against the efforts and the action of President Putin, Psaki said. Russia launched a full-scale war against Ukraine after Putin declared a special military operation in the country. Putin is widely acknowledged to have sought a pretext to invade after gathering Russian troops and mass along the Ukrainian border and declare the independence of two Ukrainian regions. A total of 137 Ukrainian soldiers and civilians had died at early Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a video address. That number was expected to rise. The Russian offensive appeared to be the beginning of the large-scale invasion and attacking down the capital city of Kiev, a senior U.S. defense officer said Thursday. It's our assessment that they have every intention of basically decapitating the government, the officer said, specifying they're making a move on Kiev. International observers were alarmed at the possibility of the violence spilling beyond Ukrainian border into a broader European war, while some critics have argued that the worldwide chaos would be worse under President Trump. Republicans have argued that Biden's perceived weakness on the world stage had invited aggression from American allies. It's not just Russia seeking to capitalize on global instability either. China is, by all appearance, looking to side control Taiwan. Chinese Communist Party (CCP) propagandists have been told as much. One Chinese state media outlet appeared to accidentally post guidelines on what should and should not be published at the Russia-Ukraine conflict, while an editor from another outlet wedged in with guidance on the language and approaches that he believed necessary in walking a fine line. Horizon News, a social media account belonging to CCP on Beijing News, appeared a post instruction, along with a note that no posts unfavorable to Russia with pro-Western content should be published. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.